Hey guys, welcome to So Bliss. Today I'm going to show you how to make the skirt from the Chicka Chicka Bum Bums pattern. This pattern is by Peekaboo Pattern Shop. They have a great selection of different patterns that you can buy, and I really like this pattern because there's such a variety with it. In this pattern you have the option of making shorties, bummies, and then the skirted option that we're going to be making today. I have another video on how to make the shorts and the bummies, so the shorties and the bummies, and I'll put a link to that down below. But today I'm going to show you how to make the bummies underneath the skirt. The supplies that you're going to need are first your fabric. I'm going to be using this Darling fabric, which is from Peekaboo Fabric Shop. It is related to Peekaboo Pattern Shop. They're both from the same site. I'll put a link down below to the fabric as well as to the pattern. And I just love how this looks for summertime. I think it's so fun, kind of mermaid-esque. And you can also go check out the shorties and bummies video where I sewed with their fabric as well. And it was a shark fabric and a sea turtle fabric, which is Darling. So make sure to go check out those links down below. I'm also going to be using this teal fabric for the bummies underneath, which I also got from Peekaboo Fabric Shop. Now, other than that, you're just going to need your basic sewing supplies. So let's get started. First, we're going to take the two bummy pattern pieces and put them right sides together. You can't really tell with my teal fabric, but they are right sides together. And I'm going to go over to my serger and serge right along this curved edge and right along this curved edge, just to this end point right here. I'm going to be using my serger for this, but if you don't have a serger, you can still use a sewing machine. Just check and see if you have a stretch stitch on your sewing machine, which usually you can tell in the manual, or you can just use a zigzag stitch. Once you have those sides sewn down, then you're going to open it up and match up these bottom pieces right here. So it's still right sides together, and you can match up those seam lines right in the middle, and then the ends should match up as well. And I'm going to go stitch that down. And that is creating the crotch seam. Once we have that seam sewn, I'm going to set those off to the side, and I'm going to take my leg band pieces and I'm going to put them right sides together, matching up these shorter edges, and then I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and stitch this down on both pieces. Now I'm going to take this piece, the leg band piece, and put it wrong sides together. So match up those and fold it in half. So it just takes a little bit of manipulating, especially if you have a slippery fabric. And just match up those raw edges. So the right sides will be on the outside. Now I'm going to take that over to my shorts, or my bummies. These are bummies that I'm making. And I'm going to match up that seam on the leg band and on the shorts, match those up, and I'll pin that in place. Now, one thing that is good to do is to find the halfway point in the leg band, which would be right there. I'll mark it with a pin. And then find the halfway point in the shorties or bummies, and match those up. That way when you're stretching the leg band to fit in the leg hole, you will stretch the band evenly across the leg hole. So now I'm ready to go sew that together. So all my raw edges are matching up, and I'm just sewing that leg band to the shorties or the bummies. Once your leg bands are sewn in, this is what it should look like. And if you flip it to the right side and pull those leg bands out, it should look just like this. Now if you want to, you can go along right here and catching that seam that we just sewed, you can top stitch that down. Now I'm not a huge fan of that top stitching, so I'm not going to. It's totally optional. If you want to do it and you like that look, you can do it. But now I'm going to set the bummies off to the side, and I'm going to get my skirt pieces. You should have a front piece and a back piece. And I'm going to lay them right sides together Now with right sides together, I'm gonna go over to my serger and I'm gonna serge these side seams down. So that side and this side. Now once those side seams are sewn on the skirt, I'm then gonna take my skirt and I'm gonna fold up the bottom edge and finish off the hem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it up 3/4 of an inch. So I'll measure this and then I'm gonna take it over to my iron and give it a light ironing just to make sure it stays in place, and then I can sew that down. I'm gonna be doing a double needle stitch along the edge. You could do a zigzag stitch, a double needle stitch, or any kind of stitch really. Just make sure it has a little bit of stretch in it. Now with the skirt hemmed, we're then going to take the bummies that we made, or the shorties, whatever one you made, and take it and put it inside, just like they would be worn. And I'm gonna come to the top, and I'm going to match up all the raw edges. Now we can make sure it's equally distributed in here by matching up those center seams, finding the equal distance to the side and matching that up with the side seam of the skirt. So I'll pin that in place and do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm gonna go over to my sewing machine and I'm just going to baste these together. Now basting is using a long stitch that can be removed later on. This is just going to hold the shorties or bummies in place until we do the waistband. Once we have that skirt basted to the bummies or shorties, then I'm gonna take my waistband piece and I'm gonna be doing the yoga waistband piece. So it is larger, but if you're just doing the regular waistband piece, it'll just be half this size, but you're still doing the same thing. So I'm gonna match up right sides together and I'm gonna go over to my serger and serge this seam right along here. So that's gonna be my shorter seam. Here is the fold edge, and then I'm gonna be sewing this seam right here. And this is gonna be just like how we did the leg bands. So if it's confusing at all, just remember how we did the leg bands. After that seam is sewn, then I'm gonna take it and put wrong sides together and matching up all the raw edges. It might be easier to see it over here with the seam. So I matched up wrong sides together and just folding it in half. So now I have this waistband folded in half. So then I will take the skirt and bummies and I'm going to turn it wrong sides out. So it'll look like this, kind of funky, but with the raw edges up here that were basted together, I'm going to take the waistband and tuck it inside. So here it is inside, and I'm going to fold it in half again, finding that center. So here's my seam over here. So there would be the center, and I'm going to match that up with the side seams. Now with all those raw edges lined up, just like this, I am then going to take this over to my serger and serge that all together. So that's going to be serging the bummies, the skirt, and the 2 layers of the waistband together. So it will be a thicker layer, but it'll clean up that whole edge. Now once you are done sewing all those layers together, if you did the yoga waistband, you just fold it over one more time, and that is how you wear it. So then you are all done with your skirt. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to go check out my other video on how to make the shorties and bummies, and check out the cute fabric that I used on those. Make sure to check out Peekaboo Pattern Shop and Fabric Shop. I'll put a link down below for both of those. If you want to see more pictures of the skirt, the bummies, and the shorties in action, make sure to check out my Instagram account. I'll put a link down below for that as well. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!